Popping right now. I'm just gonna listen to it for a little bit. Hey, what's going on? I said I was gonna be live at 11. It's 11:14. But if you follow me on Facebook at Dimwit, you would have seen that I did a short little live. So it's okay. I kept my promise, kind of in a way. I found a loophole. Nowadays, everyone uses loopholes. Everyone finds a way to say something or mean something or do it indirect. But we're not gonna be talking about those people today. We could probably do that for another day. But if you're watching, you saw the title. I'll probably, get this video flagged for the title alone, and we're not even talking about the content yet. Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about decapitation, sex scandals, and stalkers. We're gonna do a little bit of true crime. We're gonna like kind of relax a little bit. Let me change the music here. There we go. So what's going on? I'm the digital dimwit. Um, if you haven't been here before, that's me. If you haven't been here before, you know that the show could go any which way. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't even know. And I don't even have my drink here. I'm putting a request for my drink. Okay, 1 second. All right, hey, what's going on, everyone? So we got the title. We're going to talk about some really crazy, dark things. It's going to be a real chill night, though, because I'm just going to kick back and enjoy this kind of conversation. I don't know if anyone's been following up. We're going to go over that Newlywed. They got married in October. A lot of people aren't really calling them newlyweds, but I'm saying, hey, that's still technically the honeymoon phase. It hasn't even been like, half a year. So yeah, they're newlyweds. Dude decapitated his wife. Mary Sanchez, what's the topic? Yeah, we're going to be talking about that newlywed couple where the husband decapitated the wife. We're going to be talking about those 5 officers that were fired for that sex scandal while they were on duty and while they were in the police station. Good stuff. And we're going to talk about the Sunday morning slasher. He's one of the most famous serial killers in the state of Texas. And we're just going to talk about it. I mean, who doesn't like talking about that kind of stuff? I love it. But yeah, dude decapitated his wife. I mean, I'm not gonna say I've never thought about something similar. I'm not gonna say I've never, just looked at the knife and jaw like one of these days. But I'm not gonna go that far. I have control over this. But yeah, the wife was 20. Well, the husband and wife were both 21. And he ended up decapitating his wife, and apparently the head was left in the shower. It was a very bloody scene. Of course, it's going to be bloody. But what I want to know is, cops are known for being hornballs. Yes, I could actually share some stories back from when I worked at the police department. But and maybe I will, because I mean, it was pretty bad. A lot of stuff happened. But so apparently the wife and husband lived with her parents. So it was a family home. It was, they're starting off. They're 21 years old. My dog is going crazy right now. I don't know a lot of 21-year-olds who up and go get married and then are able to have like a house and stuff. I'm not saying it's impossible, but more than half the time it's going to be, living with the parents or housing. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I have family that live in housing. I have family that lived in the projects. No problem. I don't look down on them. It doesn't change my perspective. I'm just saying that's the situation that sometimes these young married couples get into. And there's stress. I mean, there's stress in any relationship, especially there's stress in every relationship, whether it's money, whether it's, infidelity, because I mean, that's everywhere. Um, Nowadays, like a lot of people are getting like really upset about these things, and that kind of leads into the next story. What does their SES have to do with it? Okay. Isabel, can you explain? I'm lost on that one. You need to fill the gaps in for me. You're much smarter than I am when it comes to this. But yeah, this happened in Houston, so it's kind of, close to me. I mean, Texas, everyone knows. Even if you're not in Texas, you know Houston. But apparently he severed her head with a knife. I don't know what kind. I know it's horrible, but in these kind of situations, it's best to do it with a sharp knife rather than a dull blade, because I feel like Having it done like a butter knife or something like that would just be extremely painful and really messy. Where something, what's up? Hey, can you bring me my drink? I left it in the freezer. My Dutch Bros. Thank you.
I found another Christmas present.
You found a Christmas present for me? What'd you get me?
I didn't wrap it.
Oh.
You want it?
Yeah, what is it? You got me a Christmas present?
Well, I found it. I got it a long time ago.
Oh, this is cute. I'm gonna use this for my lives now. Alright. Thank you. I'm still getting Christmas presents. This is amazing. I'm gonna throw that and I'll pick that up later. In Humboldt, Texas. Oh, okay. But they look like they look like a lovely couple. Like they look like you wouldn't picture that. I mean, I know there's some couples in my life that I know about. Thank you very much. You're wonderful. There are some couples I could look at and be all like, yeah, that guy would probably kill his wife. But not these. Let's see. Let's share the screen here a little bit. How's everyone on this Sunday? No, it's Saturday. It's Saturday, not Sunday. I mean, they look happy. Lovely couple, both of them. That's an advertisement. I shouldn't be getting advertisements. I have an ad blocker. So who'd have thought, like, after looking at these two, like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if there's anything wrong with them. I don't know if it was a crime of passion. I don't know if there was mental issues. I don't know if it was just a really big fight. I don't know. That's going to be coming out soon because they're still doing the investigation. Even though he's already admitted to it, I mean, they still need to, like, find out exactly what caused this or anything. But looking at this, I wouldn't look at them and be all like, wow, like, he's going to kill her in a few months. Like, she's gorgeous. What else do they say? There have been prior calls, disturbance-wise, but nothing to this effect of this violence. So, okay, there was a little bit of domestic issues. I mean, that's okay. I'm not going to hate anyone for that. That's what I want to know. I want to know if the murder took place first and then the decapitation, or the murder was caused by the decapitation. I haven't read it. I've been reading, but they haven't given out that much things. But life insurance, honestly, I don't think there's a lot of 21-year-olds that have like high life insurances, especially if they were still living at home and really, I didn't know what their like situation was. So I don't want to think it's life insurance. I think it's maybe just like passionate, like just in the moment kind of thing. I think there was surveillance video of him like going and doing a beer run. So maybe alcohol could have been a problem. Maybe he had drugs on him. Maybe he was on something. I mean, we all know like drugs change people. Like it changes them, like short term, long term, in the moment. So we don't know what could have been going on through his head at that time. So, prayers to the family. I know they're doing a GoFundMe. I know they're trying to, of course, all the family members are saying like that she was like the light of their lives, that she was such a fun person, that she was such a bubbly person. In the pictures, I could see that, but pictures could paint a whole different image of what's really happening behind the scenes. But I hope the family gets peace. I hope justice is served. He's already admitted to it, so it's just a matter of time for the whole court thing to go, the investigation thing to happen, and that's good. Now, let's get juicy, people. Okay. Yeah. Everyone's been hearing about this. The 5 officers fired, 3 suspended for the shenanigans that are happening. I mean, I think it's just because there's a badge. I think just because there's police involved, that's why people are making a spectacle of it, because police are supposed to be held to this higher standard. When I have friends that are police officers, I'm all like, you shouldn't be a police officer. Like, you gotta do something else. But I mean, because those have worked in the restaurant industry, every one of your servers and every one of your chefs and not chefs, but like cooks. I'm not going to downplay it or anything. But all your cooks, your wait staff, your bus boys, that's just one big orgy. So be careful where you eat and take a black light next time you're, at Denny's or Applebee's or something. I've heard stories from Applebee's. Uh, but it's police officers. They're held to a standard. Even though, like, when I was a dispatcher, I was supposed to be held to a standard to where I wasn't allowed to, I don't have my wallet here, but I have my what's it called? I don't even know what the license is, but it's a law enforcement license that you get, like, if you're a jailer, if you're a dispatcher, if you work anywhere like in law enforcement where you have access to certain information, you need to have a license to be able to enter that database. And I have that. It's in my wallet somewhere. It's still valid because I keep it up to date because you never know. Because no matter where you go, they're gonna need dispatchers. So I, I know what it's like to be held to that standard. Like if you get like one little arrest and you're like a dispatcher, you're a jailer, a CO, a police officer, even if it's like a small thing, you get suspended and you get like a full investigation. Like aside from the investigation that's taking place, you get this department, which is I can't remember the name of it. Oh, TCOL, that's what it is. It's the Texas Licensing of Law Enforcement, TCOL. They'll go and investigate you. If you're arrested for like an assault, you automatically lose your license. You can never work in that kind of field again. If you get like a misdemeanor, depending on what the misdemeanor is, you get suspended for like a couple of months to a couple of years before you could enter that workforce again. The person who confessed to that crime actually did it. I don't think so. He's the husband. He admitted to it. He turned himself in. He already went to prison. Oh, he went to jail. I think he got bailed out, and the investigation's taking place right now. But yeah, but the fact that it's so scandalous, like one female officer and all these male officers, I don't know if they were running trains or what they were doing, but apparently there were like these girls gone wild type parties to where they would get together like at a pool and the girl would be topless and they'd be drinking alcohol off of her. And meanwhile, I'm at home playing Legos and watching cartoons. But hey, everyone lives their life differently. Okay, no one's here to judge. And speaking of not judging, we're not here to judge the way people live their relationships. We're not here to, slut shame or anything like that because there's no proper definition of what a relationship is. A relationship could be, two people, three people, four people, the occasional person that comes in and out of the relationship, any kind of gender or whatever. Because, hey, fake profile, what's going on? Because the husband found out about this, the husband of the female officer, and he's cool with it. He's, standing by his woman, standing by his wife. He, that kind of makes me think that it might be one of those like uh, polymono to where maybe he's monogamous, but she's, polyamorous to where she gets to go and like play with all these playmates. Um, yes, this was. Yeah, see, you can't have anything above B misdemeanor. Like you could have, like I could shoplift, like a pack of gum, and I'll just be suspended for a little bit. But yeah, like they take it very seriously because with that TCO license, you have access to anything. You could look at warrants, you could see protective orders, you could run names, you could do all this. That was fun. That was one of my favorite parts of the job was, you know, let me see what this person's up to. Where does this person live? Okay, this person's driving a what? Oh, okay. But yeah, this was during work hours. There was a couple of instances where it was at the police station itself while on the clock, or they were at the police gym, and there were these oral services that were traded. Like I said, I don't judge. Everyone, swings their own way if you want to say it that way. But I guess the whole issue is like because it was on the job. And there's been so many memes, and I feel bad for laughing at it. But there's some like really good memes out there. I'm not going to share them because I think that's just mean. She's probably going through a lot already, and now she has her face plastered as that one female officer who banged all these male officers. If it would have been reversed, I think the guy would have been praised. Like, oh yeah, this one male officer, yeah, he banged like 5 or 6 female officers while on the clock. I'm sure there would have been high fives and stuff around, and I doubt there would have been like any firing. Maybe a suspension. Maybe you're on desk duty for the next 6 months, kind of thing. But I think people hype this up and build it up so much because like, oh, it's a female. Like it's expected of men to fuck around like that, but females can't do that. Like, no, it's such a bad thing. Oh yeah, what they do on their time off, it's their business. That's fine. But it's the same thing like with those teachers. Like when a female teacher sleeps with a male student, it's like everywhere, and everyone knows this teacher's name, and everyone knows what school it is, and everyone knows what's going on. But when it's like a male who sleeps with a female student, that sometimes I hate to say it gets swept under the rug. It sometimes gets looked over. It doesn't get the kind of attention that it should because it's the same crime. The only difference is the gender. This chick is getting ahead in life. Yeah, like they would get together, watch wrestling, and they call it Monday Night Raw. Their favorite place to eat, Five Guys. Like there could be a lot of jokes said about that kind of thing. The female was a cop. The husband, I don't think he was a police officer. So yeah, I think that's the whole reason they're making like such a big issue of it. And also because based on the amount of officers she slept with, which was 4 confirmed, 3 additional who were suspended because they're still investigating those. But that's what 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 officers. This police department is said to only have about 60 officers. So she slept with maybe close to 10% of the police force. A little over 10% of the police force, right there. I think. And my math's right. I don't know. I'm a little tired, so I might not be getting my math correct. But let me see. Check my messages. What's going on here? TD for the win. So yeah, that's pretty messed up. They might have been really hot. Is that okay if it's someone hot? Let's pull up let's pull up a picture of these guys. I'm not gonna we're not gonna blast them or anything like that, but I'm just curious here. All right, Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I feel bad for that. I'm saying that her favorite restaurant to go to is Five Guys. So that's the female officer, and we got 4 of these officers. These are the 5 that were fired. The others that are being investigated, I don't think all their images have been shown. But I mean, to each his own. Yeah, I mean, I'm no one to judge anyone or how they run their relationship because I mean, so many different kinds out there. Let's see. I don't know. You all can judge level of attractiveness if it's worth, getting fired. I don't think anyone's worth getting fired for, to be honest. I mean, no, I'm not gonna say that. I mean, there's some celebrities up there that I've been like, yeah, I'd risk it. I'd take that chance. But yeah. Like I said, this is gonna be like a real quick one. I just want to, I said I was gonna go live. I wanted to honor that, so yeah. But that reminds me, like, okay, let's get juicy here. Let me talk about some of the stuff that happened when I worked at the police department. Not gonna do any names because you can look this up because it was reported by the Monitor. There was a. How did they get found out though? People talk. Okay, in a police department, everyone knows everything. There was officers who I had never said a word to. There were officers that I had no idea, like, what their voice sounded like, aside from the radio, but like I couldn't pick them out of a lineup if I wanted to. But yet I knew that, this officer has to pay child support to this officer because they had a one-night stand. but that officer's still married to her husband, but yet her kid is with this was from this officer, and oh yeah, her husband also works at the police department. Like it's stuff like that. Like I couldn't tell you the names of no matter how hard I tried, but it was stuff like that. But you can look this up in the newspaper. There's this female, an officer. I'm thinking somebody got left out and was a hater. Yeah, man. Okay, maybe he felt like a cuck and just wanted to play too. But there's this couple, husband wife. They were both police officers, and they were in what's called a throuple. So it's like a relationship of three, and everyone was off duty at this time. But the girlfriend and the husband started getting into an argument to where girlfriend assaulted the husband. Wife found out, then that turned into like a whole kerfluffle, and it turned into like a huge fight to where the police department that responded to them was the same police department that they worked with. So the officers knew what was going on. The sergeants now knew what was going on. It got to the point where the chief had to even come down to this arrest because it was an assault on a PO by a police department employee. So there was fired. There's people that got fired. There's someone that was suspended. There's someone that's still working there at the police department. And silver lining of this, the happy end to this story is, if I remember correctly, husband's out of the picture. He is no longer involved in this relationship, and now it is a nice, happy, monogamous relationship with the wife and the girlfriend who decided that they were in love with each other. So happy endings all around, but that's the kind of stuff that happens at the police department. What else happened? Well, the police department, there's what we call badge bunnies, and it's basically just females attracted to the badge. I don't know if that's just for females or if that's for guys, because I know some guys that work there with me who were only attracted to the female officers. Scissor, yeah. Hey, to each his own. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm completely okay with that. But where was I going with this? Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So the wife divorced the husband. Husband left. Girlfriend moved in with wife, and now they are. Last I heard, because this was like a long time ago, but like, yeah, now two of them are together. So I think they were just tagging the husband around for like a little while, and it was really just for them. Um, yeah. So badge bunnies. While I was working there, there were girls who would apply because dispatching, it's a female dominated like field. There's times where we would be, a team of 12, and it was just me and like two other guys, and there's just a lot of females there, and I feel like they're there for most of the officers because they would apply just to be close to an officer, just to oh, I want to marry an officer, or I want an officer to be my husband, kind of thing. And those were found out real quick, and they were usually like found reasons to let them go or something like that because their head wasn't focused. I wasn't there to marry an officer. My brother-in-law was one. Like I was just worried to disappoint at that point. Yeah, it could be the uniform because even when I worked for the fire department, we had fireflies. That's females, or I guess males, attracted to firefighters are called fireflies, and then you got badge bunnies for police officers. I don't know anyone that's into medics. Like I don't think anyone wakes up and says, you know what, I need to find me a medic because I need to marry them. No, they go for doctors and nurses and stuff. I'm not shutting down medics. Okay, medics are very important at their job. We need them, but I'm just saying like firefighters, police officers, like medics, maybe down here. That's just my opinion right there. I think I have a pic. No, it's in the other room. I have a picture because we had to wear uniforms, and like the police uniform it looked like a police officer. Like I looked like a police officer. The only difference was I was wearing khaki pants, but it was like a nice shirt with the patches, with a nice nameplate, and the only difference was khakis. When I went to the fire department, it was just like a really nice red and black polo that had the insignia that had like the name embroidered. It was real nice. But yeah, I have a picture of me in my uniform that because we had to take like yearbook style photos, but I don't have it here. I think no, not even my work badge because I still have my fire department badge here. I'm hiding my face, but yeah, I still have my fire badge here. That was dispatched to my place the other day. Don't Isabel, don't be one of those that calls and makes up excuses just to get the fire department out there because that happens. Okay, there was regulars to where they would call at least once a week because oh I smell gas in my house. They would get there and be like, ma'am, you don't have a gas stove. You don't have gas services at your house. I don't know what you're smelling. We don't smell anything. Or I locked myself out of my house. Can someone help get my door open? Um, yeah, that sucks. Um, Here I'm gonna find out about this. Like I've heard stories about this. I haven't really like dug into it, but here's our third and final topic: the Sunday morning slasher. This is Carl Eugene Watts. He was a serial killer in Texas, one of the most famous Texas serial killers. Who his number of victims ranged from about 22 to over 100, but he was only convicted for the 22. Um, and he was active between. Where's my drink? I keep using it. I have something in my nose. Peppers. Went to. I made an hour and a half drive to Peter Piper Pizza because that's the closest one here, and I got red chili flakes all on me. But yeah, he was most active between 1974 and 1982, and his victims ranged from the age of 14 to 44. He was known as a stalker slash torture type of killer. And the ways he killed his victims was a variety of ways, including stabbing, slashing, strangulation, drowning, bludgeoning. So this guy was kind of crazy. I'm not going to say kind of. This guy was insane. They replaced 3 batteries. Oh, you called for the smoke detector. Were you one of those that were freaking out because the smoke detector was beeping? Yeah, they need to respond. They need to treat each call as like a serious thing. So for even the minorest thing, if someone there's times where some guy would get like his ring like cut stuck on his finger, and they needed to cut it. Whole engine and medical team would have to respond to that. Double check with your fire department. Not all fire departments do that. The city of McAllen used to do it. They don't anymore because people were complaining that there was extra damage to their house, and the city would have to pay for it. And people were basically getting their porch and doors like upgraded for free. So yeah, we have Carl Eugene Watts, like I was saying. Um, he was only convict. He was only convict. I was gonna say convinced, but no, he was only convicted of about 22 of the 100 said murders that he did, and he was sentenced to 60 years in a prison in Texas in 1982. But he was also charged for some murders in Michigan, so I guess he's a two-state kind of killer. And he was sentenced to life without parole in Michigan, but he died about 2 months after he was convicted. So he really didn't get to serve his sentence. Oh, it's a chalkboard. That's even better. He didn't get to serve his full, like, really anything. He was only in prison for a little while. Gross. No, I don't judge, okay? I mean, who am I to judge for toys when my room's full of it? It's just a different kind of toy. Let's see. What else can I say about him? He did confess to at least 80, but he was suspected of others because they were similar in style, in time frame, in location, and also the victims were kind of a similar match. So that's why they pinned like 100 on him. He confessed to 80, but he was only tried and convicted of 20 of them. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of this guy. But yeah, he died in 2007. So I believe he served his Texas sentence, but he did not serve his Michigan. Let's see. Let's see this dude. And what is it with serial killers? There's like some weird obsession with serial killers, and I do not get it at all. I mean, there's some that I watch. I don't admire them or anything, but I'm not like it's pretty interesting. Like I watch it more as like a from a psychological like point. Like what event in his lifespan broke him off from being a normal member of society to like, okay, I want to stalk this girl. Oh, I think I'm going to kidnap this girl. Oh, I think I'm going to kill this girl. Oh, I'm going to do it again and again. Like, I like to see like where that happens. I think that's the only thing that fascinates me about serial killers. The actual act of speaking as someone who has taken someone else's life, that kind of bothers me and like makes me feel really gross. But yeah, here's the dude. Where are you, Carl? Carl. Yeah. This is the dude. This is early years, probably when he was being convicted here in Texas, and then this is probably him more when he was on trial for the Michigan murders in the early 2000s. Uh, yeah, man, this picture creeps the hell out of me. I don't know why they have to use photos like that. Um, yeah, serial killer file, Carl Eugene Watts. I think it's, I'm not going to say interesting, but there's a huge list of Texas serial killers. So I think at least every episode, I think we should go over like one, maybe two. Texas has their own Candyman killer, like a serial killer that goes by the name Candyman. And I'm back. So yeah, I think we should like do that. I'm up for it. I'm up for or also if you want to hear some more like stories from back in the day when I worked in the police department. There's a lot of the typical serial killer is Caucasian. Yeah, it is Caucasian, but there's an exception to the rule, I guess you could say. There's another serial. I'm not gonna say I'm psychic. I'm not gonna say I have this ability to predict the future or anything. I've been lucky a few times when I say something's gonna happen and it ends up happening, but that's pure coincidence. I'm just gonna say in the past, I did a video about the Texas killing fields. Like a year later, boom, Netflix, Texas killing fields. I started talking about the Watcher, where it was like that family that moved into a house and they started receiving letters that they were being watched and that they're gonna that person was watching over the house and anyone who lived there. I talked about that for a while. Months later, boom, Netflix released the trailer that they're coming out with the Watcher series. I still haven't watched it. I haven't watched The Watcher, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so who knows? Maybe in a few months we're gonna get this Netflix special or another special, talking about the Sunday Day Killer. Or what the name? Oh, the Sunday Morning Slasher. I typed it down and I forgot it myself here. So who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, I'd like to talk about the Candyman. I know there is the eyeball killer, where this guy's victims had their eyeballs missing. Like that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I think we're gonna end it there. Um, I want to do a show tomorrow. Maybe we could talk a little bit about movies. I've been wanting to watch. I've been wanting to talk about The Menu. Also, my daughter's been wanting to go see Megan. I'm terrified of it because of the whole uncanny valley feeling of it. Same thing when I watch Polar Express. Because it looks like a person, but it's not a person. But my mind doesn't know how to like treat that the uncanny valley. But we're gonna watch that. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. The Watcher show is boring. Yeah, I'll probably skip on that because I know a lot of it was just over dramatized, like with the tunnels and all these things. Like, eh, I like it to stay true to it. It might not be as interesting. It might not be as fun. Might be a little bit more boring. But I'd rather stick to what actually happened rather than all that stuff. But yeah, well, we had a good one. It was a short one. We're gonna keep them short, okay? Because I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're already doing me a huge favor just by watching for me for a few minutes. It does wonders for my mental health, okay? It honestly does. So I'm gonna end it now. Y'all continue doing what you were doing on a Saturday. Hey, if you're partying, party. Don't drink and drive, but have one for me if you can. If you're at home relaxing, go ahead and cuddle up next to that pillow and go to sleep because it's already getting kind of late. If you're at home, uh, eating some food, I'm gonna go have some pizza right now because I brought pizza from PPP. But yeah, so we're all doing that. Megan is B plus. That's the way it is with horror movies that come out in January. They're always like good but not amazing. I don't know if y'all knew January is like the biggest month for horror movies. Not October. October is saved for like the heavy hitters, like the Chucky's, the Saw franchise, the Nightmare on Elm Street, the Halloweens. Yeah, the big, the big players take over October, but these indie ones always come out in January. Like the Escape Room franchise, I think the Death Day franchise, the Megan, like the good ones come out in January because that is the easiest way for them to make money. Just a little, interesting thing there. But I've taken up enough of your time. I feel so sorry for that, but y'all have a good one. Okay?